Hey! It's the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack Frost. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We got a couple of things to talk about. Just want to be clear about this. First thing I'm going to do is say I appreciate all of the new subscribers we have just gotten. We've received a lot of new subscribers over the last, I don't know. It's really only been about 3 weeks, to be honest with you, about 2 to 3 weeks. It's really only have been. I'll show you the view count too. It don't matter. So as you can see, I was just taking a screenshot at the moment. So shout out to all of our new subscribers. We have over 20,000 new subscribers. I definitely appreciate y'all. With 17 million views, I really do appreciate that. So I just want to say something real quick, and then we're gonna get into the show. There is no amount of gratitude that I could show you that would appropriately translate how thankful I am that we've have been able to move into the spot that we have on YouTube. Salute YouTube. Salute all of the new subscribers, all of the people that actually enjoy the content. I was going for a while where it seems like people were just being told to not enjoy the content. So they just was like, even if I like it, I'm not going to like it. So it feels real good to have people now on the page that just enjoy the content, because I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm not here to go back and forth with anybody. If I'm saying something that you don't like, you should just go somewhere else. If I'm doing something that you don't like, you should just go somewhere else. You should just do that. Narcissists tend to want to try to make you do what they want you to do, instead of saying, you know what, I don't really like this, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Confident people, not people who lack confidence, but confident people, they will go off and find, situations that they prefer to be in, rather than try to force people to do the things that they want them to do. So shout out to all the new people that we have on the platform that has been watching our show. We should be at 100,000 before the year ends. We should be at 100,000 well before the year ends. We should be getting our plaque. So I appreciate everybody that has been enjoying the content. With that being said, let's get to the show. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about. During our live streams, I don't know if y'all want to talk about the YSL Little Woody situation, but after we have this conversation about Biden and Kamala, then I will 100% be ready to talk about the YSL Woody situation, and for Woody, however his name is pronounced. And just so everybody knows, what is one of the things that I've consistently been telling y'all about situations in the street. When y'all get snitched on, 9 times out of 10, it was the dude you call brother. Stop believing some weirdo that don't know anything about your whole operation is snitching to the police. A lot of the times, it's people who know about your operation. If you are a drug dealer, the police already know you dealing drugs. They don't need somebody that's going to say that guy's a drug dealer. They need somebody that's going to say they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, and this is how they're doing it. They need an explanation of how the things are being done, not just that you're doing it. Most of y'all that get caught out there and y'all get in trouble with the law, it's because the person that's snitching on you is somebody that knows you. It's somebody that's intimate into your operation. If you are outside selling drugs, the police already know who you are. They just trying to figure out how to bust you. Somebody that does not know about your operation is of no use to them. And that's another reason why I consistently tell people, don't tell me about your crimes. I don't want to know about your crimes. Because 9 times out of 10, you got a homeboy that, or somebody you think is your homeboy, probably want to bang your girl, and he's snitching on you. A while back, I had an individual come up to me and tell me about a period where they had just got arrested, right? And I wanted to say to them, your man snitched on you, fam. But I didn't because I don't want to get involved in the shit and it don't got nothing to do with me. But I wanted to tell the dude. I'm not even going to explain the situation because it's not my business. But I did want to tell the dude, it's obvious from what you just told me, your man snitched on you. Stop thinking these people that don't know how your operation works is snitching on you. 9 times out of 10, it's your homie. Check out Little Woody. With that being said, let's get into this Kamala Biden situation. So I'm going to say a couple of things, right? And the first thing I want to say is this. Kamala is a communist. She's a communist. Her father teaches Marxism. If you know anything about Marxism, it's basically everybody has to be at the same level. That's communism. Kamala is a communist. Now, with that being said, she has a right to be a communist. I'm not speaking down on her for being a communist. She has a right to be a communist. But let me explain to y'all just some communist beliefs real quick. Communists believe every single person should be at the same level. So that means that if you're a doctor, you should make the same amount of money as a school teacher, who should make the same amount of money as the trash collector, who should make the same amount of money as the guy that works at McDonald's, who should make the same amount of money as the marine biologist, who should make the same amount of money as the brain surgeon. That's what communism is. Every single person, no matter what your skill level is, no matter what kind of work or effort you put into doing whatever your job is, everybody deserves to have the same amount of money. That's communism. She literally tells you she's a communist when she says everybody has to end up in the same place. Now, I need to understand why, while I never studied blood work or anything like that. So why should I be allowed to be a pathologist? Why should I get the same amount of money as somebody who's went to school for who knows how many years to study blood, how the blood works, how our circulatory system, you know, these hundreds of hours of studying. Why should I make the same amount of money as that person? Why should people who are construction workers, which is a tough job, make the same amount of money as an individual who packs bags in a supermarket? I need an explanation of this. Now, for the individuals that don't understand why I particularly think communism is terrible, it's because I grew up in the 80s when Russia was a communist society. I remember them putting the bread lines on television. So let's go back a little bit further, just so we can be clear. In the 1920s, we had bread lines over here in America. We had bread lines over here in America. In the 1920s. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Why would we want to go back to bread lines in this day and age? Why would we want to do that? I need an explanation. Why would you want to elect a person who wants to make taxes tax in such a way that we can afford anything? So we don't have no choice but to get government assistance. I need an explanation. Now I'm going to tell y'all what's going on with what I believe is going on with Biden and Kamala. I'll tell you what I believe is going on with Biden and Kamala. It's a thing going on. Pay attention. The first is this. They know that, one, Kamala has been unpopular since she tried to run for the presidency. She's always been unpopular. I just want to be clear on this. If y'all go check the numbers, she was the first person out of running. She was at like 0.1% of people who are actually supporting her when she ran for presidency, before she dropped out. She's always been unpopular. One of the reasons, when she was the attorney general and the DA and everything of that in California, she specifically went after black people. Specifically. If you go check, and this is wild too, because I remember when there was a lot of big deals made about this, but nobody was attaching a name to it. When they were talking about how in California, if you are white and you commit a crime, and if you are black and you commit the same exact crime, when you were black, you were getting so much more time. And white people was damn near walking home. She was the DA and the attorney general during that time, just so we could be clear. So that means that her office was operating under her mandates. So they was mandating to put black men in prison for longer periods of time than white people, than white men, for the same exact crime. So I need an explanation on why black people should vote for her also. Put that in the chat. Why should a black man vote for somebody that, if we would have been in front of her prosecutors and we committed the same exact crime that a Caucasian person committed, and they would have probably gave the Caucasian person time served with a slap on the wrist, but they would have sent us to jail for a couple of years and make us do hard labor. See, this is the problem that the black man has here in America. Even black people believe that black men have to do hard, life-draining jobs. Black people themselves don't even believe that black men are intelligent enough to do anything other than hard labor. That's all we could do. Hard labor, entertainment, and sports. Sports is entertainment. So when Donald Trump said black jobs, he wasn't wrong. I do the internet, right? I don't think I've ever had a white person come up to me and say I needed to quit the internet and get a job. But as I walk through the street, black people harass me with that every single day of my life. It's only the black people that harass me every single day of my life. White people don't do that. White people cheer me on. White people say, great job. White people motivate me. So my question is, why should we be voting? I'm speaking about black men specifically, for Kamala Harris, When if we were in front of her prosecutors, she would have put us in jail. Even if we were innocent and she knew we were innocent, she would have did everything that she could do to put us in jail. Wouldn't even look for the person who actually committed the crime. You see, when you send an innocent person to jail, you do two things. The first thing you do is send an innocent person to jail. The second thing you do is leave a criminal out on the streets to commit the crime again. Just something to think about. So Biden and Kamala, they're at ends. Why do I believe this? So a couple of days ago, I think it was maybe a week ago, there was a meeting in the Oval Office, and the press was outside of the White House, I believe. I don't know where the meeting was at. It was in the White House somewhere. So the press was outside. And the press noticed that Kamala came out with her motorcade and just left. The meeting was still in progress. Allegedly, Biden kicked her out of the meeting. Now, I wasn't in the meeting, so I can't tell you what happened. But I can tell you what I think happened. Kamala Harris is in a very precarious situation. You see, she's attached to Bidenomics in a myriad of different ways. But the most cohesive way, the most simple way that we could look at it is she was the vice president of the president that created it. If we want to go a little bit deeper, there was a bill that had went into the office. Pardon me. I can't remember the something reduction act, right? It was the something reduction act. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me try to put it up on the screen, see if I can find it real quick. I don't think people really understand the problem that Kamala Harris has, and she should probably have it. It's something reduction act, right? Is it the Inflation Reduction Act? No, it's let's put Inflation Reduction Act. Let's see what happened, right? I hate when I do that. Okay, here we go. 2024. Yeah, this is it. The Inflation Reduction Act, right? So I don't need the whole thing up there. I just want to make sure that I got the right thing. So I'm saying the right thing. I just want to make sure that I didn't need to show the screen to you. I just want y'all to see me while I was fact checking myself. So the Inflation Reduction Act, right? The Inflation Reduction Act is not just, they had a lot of different things under it. I have no idea why they call it the Inflation Reduction Act, just so we can be clear, because it did the opposite. The Inflation Reduction Act basically like increased taxes or something. So it didn't do the opposite, but it made it the fact that inflation was happening more difficult for the American. That's the best way to put it. So for everybody that don't know, inflation is created when we print money. So have anybody ever seen that movie Money Something or Other with Queen Latifah? In that movie, they were taking old money back to the place where they burn it, and by burning the money, they were keeping the value of our dollar at a steady rate, because you can't just keep printing money. The more money you print, the less valuable each individual bill is. So if you have exorbitant amount of actual physical dollars out there, that makes the actual value of our dollar go down. Just so we can be clear, I don't think people understand what inflation is. They keep trying to trick y'all and saying Donald Trump created inflation. And at first I thought they was just lying, but I think they just might not know. I really don't think they're tricking the public anymore. I think they just are incompetent, like Trump calls them. Hold on, we get into why Kamala and Biden is fighting. They're fighting, I promise you. So Kamala has to keep herself attached to the current Bidenomics. One reason is because she's the vice president of Biden, and the second reason is she was the deciding vote that passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which exacerbated the issue instead of helping the issue, because you can't help inflation by changing laws as much as you have to destroy the physical money and stop printing more money, which the government doesn't, our current administration doesn't believe in, because they literally believe that money is grown on trees. Biden just came out and said a thing. I'm going to show y'all my phone because I didn't get it prepared. I wasn't even going to do a live this morning. I don't be thinking y'all be wanting me to do live streams, so I wasn't even going to do a live this morning. You know what I'm saying? The only people that usually in here trying to talk to me is the people that don't like me. So I just don't be thinking y'all want me to do a live. So I just go to them. This doesn't pay me any money, fam. My other thing pays me money, just so we could be clear. So this doesn't pay me no money. When y'all see me doing this, it's just because I want to do this. This is I get zero benefits from doing this. Zero. All right, let me show you something real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm gonna take a second. If I can find it, I'm gonna show you. Yeah, I get zero benefits from doing this. Zero. I don't get no benefit from doing this. I just do this because I want to do this. So on days I don't want to do it, I don't do it because there's no benefit. And for anybody that's like, oh, he don't want to live stream because nothing. Well, yeah. Why would you want to take up 2 and 3 hours of your day doing something that you're just going to get a headache from? Because, well, I don't literally get a headache, but it's, you know, I'm just going to have people harassing me and I also don't get nothing out of it. Who would do that? Like, that don't even make sense. Let me show y'all something real quick because, you know, people love to lie. And then say, prove that I'm lying. Because that's how Satan works. Satan lie on you and then ask you to prove it.
All the legislation we passed is working. In case you haven't noticed, it's working.
How much does it bother you that Vice President Harris might sue for political reasons, start to distance herself from your economic?
She's not going to.
You don't think she's going to?
Just for the people that was going to say that I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm lying. Just for them. That was literally the press asking the same thing that I'm talking about right now. And this is the press that y'all love because, you know, whenever Jack Frost says something, you know, I get all of these dissenters, or I got all of these people saying I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm showing you I know what I'm talking about. But even more important, hold on. I think I got another video also that punctuates it. I'm just going to see if I can find it real quick. If I can't find it, we're just going to move on. We're not going to hold it. I don't think I can find it. All right. So Kamala Harris is trying to distance herself from Biden's administration, right? So I want to be clear about this because this is the reason why I think Biden is pissed. He's pissed, and this is the reason. Do y'all remember early in Biden's administration when he kept saying men got to listen to women more? He was like, especially black women. Do y'all remember that? I don't know if anybody else remembers that. I remember that. Petridge Palm remembers. What I believe is this. Oh, and let me just add something else. Do y'all remember when Kamala Harris made a point to say that she's one of the last people in the room that helps Biden make decisions? I know somebody has to at least remember that part, right? She's like, yo, I'm one of the last people in the room. Biden is making decisions. I'm involved in all of the decision-making processes. I think it goes a little bit further than that. Like, we all see Biden. We can see him with our own two eyes. You know how easy that man is to properly trick? All you got to have is nice words, and you could just trick that man into anything. He probably don't even remember what he said 20 minutes ago. You could just tell him, yo, remember you said this? Remember you said that? And he might just be, ashamed to admit he don't remember and be like, okay, yeah, let's do that then. I think a lot of these policies are actually Kamala Harris's and not necessarily Biden's. And I think that's why they're beefing. Kamala Harris isn't going to win. But she can't even look like she has a chance to win right now. And that's all they want to do. Because I do believe that if they rig that last election, they're 100% going to try to rig this election. I'll say that again. I 100% believe that if they rig that last election, that they are 100% going to rig this election. I believe that wholeheartedly, with no doubt in my mind. Zero doubt. But they have to make it look close. If they don't make it look close, then there's going to be an uproar. I need a real quick question. Why do y'all think almost every other country on the planet is like, Trump got to win to save America? Because we want to go back to when America was doing America's job, which is keeping the world safe. Why is almost every other country saying that? Mainly the citizens. Why has Europe, the UK, having all of these issues? They've literally just implemented the things over here that Kamala Harris and Biden want to implement. The only difference is their citizens aren't allowed to carry guns. That's the biggest difference. Their citizens aren't American. We're just a different breed. Over here in America, we're just a different breed. And they're not allowed to carry guns. These rednecks out here, they be ready to shoot shit up. The last thing the United States of America want to do is have black people decide to unite, first of all, with themselves. You know how many guns is in the hood? You know how many illegal guns is in the hood? Do you know what would happen if the hood decided, you know what? This is a real war going on. This is a civil war going on, and we got to protect our own rather than what we're currently doing. We have to destroy our own. You know what would happen if black people left that mindset of destroying their brothers and destroying their sisters? Do you understand what would happen? Our spending power is like $1.8 trillion. That alone would bankrupt so many companies if we just decided to not spend money with them. Imagine if every black person in New York decided, salute. Shout out to Hassan Shipman with the dub drop. Appreciate you, my brother. You the man. All of the things. Imagine if black people in New York City said, you know what? We don't like Optimum Cable no more. We're going to all go for Verizon. You know, Optimum is probably going to have to move out of the city. It wouldn't be financially responsible for them to keep operating in New York City because they would be putting more money out than they would be bringing in. It wouldn't be financially responsible. Do you know what would happen if black people decided, you know what? None of us like T-Mobile anymore. And every black person in New York City got off of T-Mobile. What do you think will happen? First of all, if every black person thought that, another thing is going to happen. There are a lot of people who aren't necessarily black, but they're black. They're going to stop using T-Mobile and Verizon also. Now, I'm not saying to do any of these things. Those companies employ a lot of our people. I don't have an issue with Verizon. Salute T-Mobile. I was just using an example. So over here in America, we operate different. Over there in the UK, do y'all see what's happening? They're in the streets fighting illegals right now. They're banding together and they're out in the street. Illegals on this side, nationals on this side, fight, and then the police got to come around after the fact because there's not enough police to do anything about it. Now imagine if those nationals had guns and if those illegals also had guns. Because you can't tell me guns ain't coming through the borders. Everything is coming through the borders. That's another point. Hold on. I just want to stop real quick. So Biden and Kamala is so real quick to do something about gun control and they want to take guns away from American citizens, but y'all not even really checking the people coming through the borders. They coming through with drugs and everything else. You don't think they coming through with guns? I saw a boat. This wasn't in America, though. I think it was in another country. But I saw a boat come up to the shoreline of some country and like 40 people jumped off that bitch and started running up the beach. Kamala and Biden are fighting behind closed doors because Kamala has to pretend like America's in a bad situation. Imagine if me and you were the vice, if I'm the president, if I'm the vice president, you're the president, right? And you're not going to run no more because they edged you out. They did a coup. They said, yo, look, if you don't drop out of the race, we're going to expose you to the whole world and make it so that your whole entire presidency looks terrible and we're going to ruin your name. So you're going to be known as one of the most incompetent, destructive presidents ever in the history of being a president. We're going to expose to the world that you have dementia. We're going to stop protecting you with the press. We're going to destroy your legacy if you don't drop out. And then on top of that, you know what else we're going to do? Amendment 25, the 25th Amendment. And we're just going to remove you. So now you in a bind. You drop out. You do what they tell you to do. And then the person that they replace you come in to say, I'm going to fix all of the problems of the old administration. And that person is your fucking vice president. How would you feel about that? If the person that was your vice president has the audacity to come out and say, I used to have a teacher that used to use that word all the time. I wish I could remember her name. Has the audacity. She was a cutie too. I think she was like from Cuba or something. She was from like Cuba. She looked like she could have been. I think she was from Cuba. She was fine too. I ain't gonna lie. She got in trouble for doing coke in the bathroom with another teacher. They busted them apparently doing coke in the bathroom. This was in grade school, by the way. This was elementary school. My 6th grade teacher. She got busted in the bathroom doing cocaine with another teacher after I graduated already. I was never a big fan of hers, but she was fine. She was fine. She had like one of them big booties too. I'm so sorry. She had a nasty personality though, and she talked down to everybody. I promise you. So after I got older and understood what cocaine does to the brain, I was like, yep, she was on coke. Anyway, Kamala's on coke also. Allegedly. Wink, wink. Anybody that knows about what cocaine does to a person, next time Kamala talks, listen to her. Y'all think it's because she drinks too much. I promise you, it's not the drinking. All right? It's the cocaine. The cocaine. I promise you. Allegedly. Allegedly. Hold on, I got something that feels so big. In 1 second. Allegedly. Yeah, it's the cocaine. I'm telling you, it's the cocaine. I tell you, I'm gonna put this down in the chat. Usually the only people that try to come up here are people that want to harass me, so I don't usually allow them to come up. I don't never allow them to come up here. I will never do that. But if any regular, normal individuals want to come up here that I know, if I don't know you, you don't even got to hit the link. Like, it's a waste of time. I'm gonna think you one of them weirdo ass niggas. Anyway. So I want to be clear about this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. Kamala, you know how they keep saying, what is she running on? Since she's a part of the current administration, the only thing that she can actually run on is that wouldn't be disrespectful to the current administration is that we're going to do more of what we've already been doing. The problem with that is too many of the American public is smart enough to know that we don't want that done anymore. Everything that y'all have been doing in office for the last 3.5 years is terrible. And it's been just hurting us. It's terrible. Every single thing that y'all have been doing is terrible. Y'all have destroyed our economy. Y'all have allowed all the illegals into America. And then I heard somewhere where they said that the reason why rent is high is because there's a lack of homes or lack of apartments or lack of residences for people to live in. And I promise you, there is a shitload of buildings in New York City right now that are empty. Empty. Nobody lives there. They're empty. A shitload. All right? That they've been building for the last couple of years. And now they up. And they're just not in use. They're empty. The problem isn't a lack of homes or a lack of residences. The problem is, it's just expensive. Shout out to Kamala and Biden. Not a real shout out. So Kamala and Biden, in my honest opinion, are currently at odds, because the only talking points that Kamala could possibly have that might get her elected is basically saying she is against what the current administration is doing, which she's a part of. That's why when you go to her website, there's nothing there. There's no, we plan on doing this, we plan on doing that, we plan on doing that. There's no policy. Because any policy she makes that is something that the majority of the public is going to want is going to be policy that runs contrast to the policy that we're already living under. So in order for her to be able to get elected, she has to admit that Joe Biden is doing a terrible job. Now do y'all understand why she's not doing any interviews? That's why she's not doing any interviews. That's why when she go talk to people, they can't talk to her about policy. Now, there are a lot of smart people, good people, God-fearing people who are going to vote for Kamala Harris. And there are a lot of terrible people that are just terrible individuals that's going to vote for Trump. And the inverted could be said about both. There are a lot of terrible people that's going to vote for Kamala, and there's a lot of good people that's also going to vote for Trump. So could y'all please be nicer to your neighbor, nicer to your family member that is gonna or supports the other party? Because if you haven't paid attention to politics, at least one of the parties lie all the time. I'm going to say something, and I've been wanting to say this, but we haven't been doing no lives. So I remember growing up and always hearing politicians always lie. They give you promises and then they never do them. I'm going to tell you what my perspective of this is real quick. My perspective of this is this. The Republicans always are trying to do the thing that they promised you. A lot of their bills get voted down in Congress when in the House or wherever, right? It gets voted down, right? Because generally, at least in my lifetime, we've had more times that the Republicans have been, the majority. So Democratic, pardon me. The point at which I'm trying to make is this. Republicans generally, in my belief, always want to do the thing that they're promising you. Because conservatives and liberals are completely different. Conservatives and liberals just think different. And that's why it's a waste of time for a conservative to argue with a liberal over anything except for actual results. Don't argue. If you're a liberal, don't argue with your conservative brothers and sisters about anything other than results. And if you are conservative, don't argue with your liberal brothers and sisters about anything except for results. Just don't. You should talk politics. Don't get this confused. But you shouldn't argue politics. There's a difference. So I say all that to say this. Republicans try to get shit passed. And then even if the thing is successful, the Democrats and the news tell you that it's unsuccessful. Do you really understand how successful Trump's 4 years was? It would have been more successful, but the problem is we were going through a pandemic. Trump's time as the president was uber successful. Imagine going through a pandemic with the economy that we have right now. Just hold on to that for a moment. Imagine going through a pandemic with the economy that we have right now. We would have went straight into Mad Max times. We would have been in Mad Max times. It would have been, America would have been a whole war zone. We would have been in Mad Max times. You know what got us through that whole pandemic? The fact that the economy was actually good. I don't think people understand that. Shit was affordable during the pandemic. Food was like 40% less expensive. Shit was affordable. Gas, the price of gas was low. That helps to make things affordable, just so we can be clear. Because not the majority of people don't live near a damn port. So that means that shit is shipped to you on tractor trailers and truck in containers, right? Who's driving the containers? Truck drivers, right? How are they driving the containers? By putting gas inside of the damn truck. So when gas goes up to $5, $6 a gallon for diesel, $7, $8 a gallon for diesel, and that truck got to get what? 100 fucking gallons of diesel. That means every single item that truck is transporting now becomes more expensive. I mean, I don't get how people don't understand this. Gas was at one of its lowest points that it's been in the last 30, 40 years, as far as in the index of how much our inflation in economy is doing under Trump. So by Trump doing things that allowed for our fuel to be cheaper, that means it was cheaper to heat our homes. That means that it was cheaper to get around. That means that it was cheaper for them to move products around America, which meant that shit was just cheaper. What was one of the first things that happened when Biden and Kamala won? Gas went up. Now, if I know this, you don't think politicians know this? You don't think the people that, speak to the politicians know? If I know this. Just a guy sitting in his home in Coney Island. Shout out to Coney Island, in Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn, in New York City. Shout out to New York City, from the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. If I know this, you don't think politicians know this? So if politicians know this, why would Biden and Kamala allow for gas prices to go so high? Why aren't y'all asking yourselves that question? Kamala's a communist, man. There are a lot of people that I'm pretty sure that are going to vote for Kamala that I respect and I think are good people. I just think that they're just making a bad decision. but there are a lot of people who I respect. I think are good people, good in their heart, and they're doing what they believe to be the best thing to do. But they're just voting for Kamala. 1, because she's black. 2, because she's a woman. And 3, because they don't like Trump. If you're going to only vote for people because you like them as a person, so that means that any old body can become president. All they got to do is be good liar, have a good poker face. That's it. They don't have to know anything about how government runs. Kamala knows nothing about how government runs. She just thinks that she could just do executive orders and make everything she wants to happen. And y'all want to put her in office. Y'all want to put the person in the presidency that weaponized the media against their opponent, or weaponized the judicial system against their opponent. That's the person that y'all want to have in the presidency. I don't want to see another Democrat as a president through me the rest of my life. I don't think these are not the Democrats I grew up with. These are not the Democrats I grew up with. I'm sorry. These aren't the Jesse Jacksons of the world. I'm sorry. These Democrats are more communist than anything else. These Democrats push agendas that I don't care for. They don't have, pardon me, they don't have any policy or agenda that they're pushing that I care for. So I have a thing that I say, and that is when I experience certain media, I'll turn, like TV show, movie, media. I'll turn from it and I won't watch it. And people be like, why won't you watch that? I'll give you a good example. The Umbrella Academy. So the first season of the Umbrella Academy was incredible. It was great TV. The second season of Umbrella Academy was like, oh man, it was just real hard for me to watch. I'm gonna explain in one moment. It was just really hard and really tough for me to watch. The third season of Umbrella Academy is when I decided that this is just not for me. But I did watch, like almost to the. I was just like, you know what, this isn't for me, right? So the fourth season of Umbrella Academy comes out. I watch about 30 minutes of the first episode, and then I'm done with those guys. I think the idea and the concept is great. I love the idea and I love the concept. And because of that, I stayed attached to the program for so long. Also, I think that they have a lot of good actors and actresses in the program. So I stayed attached to it for a long time because, you know, I thought that I feel, this is my opinion on this has not changed, that those actors and actresses in that show are really good. They do have good writing to a degree. Some of the shit is just messed up, but I'll explain why in a second. So I said, you know what? I don't think this is a bad show, because it's not a bad show, but it's not a show for me. LGBTQ problems are not my problems. Those aren't the problems I go through. And I don't want people to say LGBTQ and black people have the same issues with America, because we don't. I'm not trying to turn white. I'm not trying to do a lot of stuff. Right? So we have totally different issues. And I'm not speaking down on people in the LGBTQ community. I'm just saying we have different issues. So your issues that you might have, that you might be going through, are different than mine. We don't share the same issues. I don't care how much you try to tell me we do. I know that we don't. I'm educated enough to know that we don't. So that's a good show, but they didn't make that show for me. I give you another show, Acolytes. I just give you this show second on purpose because I wanted to talk about an actually good show first. The Umbrella Academy is actually a good show. It just wasn't created for me. The Acolyte, that's a terrible show. And why is the show terrible? Because they're pushing the LGBTQ agenda so hard that that's the only people that the show was created for. It wasn't created for anyone else. I don't know no other way to explain that. That show wasn't created for anybody else. I've never in the history of Star Wars ever seen them having people nude in any manner. The most nude we saw was Leia in a bikini because she was captured by Jabba the Hutt. But in the Acolytes, they got guys walking around with no shirt on. This ain't Star Wars. What the fuck is you doing? Pardon my language. What the heck are you doing? That's not Star Wars. Star Wars isn't about objectifying the human body. What are you doing? That show isn't for me. So that's how we have to also look at politicians. I don't hate that politician, but their policies aren't for me. Why would I vote for them? Kamala Harris's policies aren't for the Black community. I don't care how Black she says she is. Now, she can't talk about any of the policies that are for us for two reasons. One is because by doing that, she's going against everything her and Biden had did in their first 4 years. So she has to literally be admitting that her and Biden's been fucking up this whole entire time, pardon my language. And two, Trump has already taken the position for all of the policies that help our community. For all of the policies that actually help our community, Trump has already taken those positions. Trump's already fighting those wars, which run in direct opposition of what Biden and Kamala has been doing. So that means that Kamala can't even have a policy because she can't say that she's going to do more of what they've already been doing because what they've been doing is terrible. And she can't bring up different policy that would help because then she's then admitting that everything they've been doing is absolutely bananas. But she would also then have to take policies that Trump are talking about. Like when she said no tips on no taxes on tips. I think she's really going to do that. A person that is so happy that they signed the Inflation Reduction Act that actually increased inflation by like, I don't know, 10, 15% or something like that. Like it's one of the worst things that's ever been signed into in like the last 20, 30 years. It's like one of the worst things that's ever been signed. And she was the deciding vote. So you think she's going to now say, you know what, we're not going to tax tips when all they do is raise taxes? Remember, the Republicans consistently want to cut taxes. The Democrats consistently want to raise taxes. The Democrats have literally convinced y'all that the Republicans lowering taxes is because they want to help their friends. You know what? I'm gonna give you that one. The Republicans lowering taxes does help their friends. You want to know why? Because their friends are business owners. And us having money to spend at their corporations help their friends. So when Trump cuts your taxes and make sure that your family has more money in their pockets, that money isn't to save or invest as much as that money is to spend. By spending that money, you do help Trump and his friends. So they're not lying. But check this out. I want y'all to go check and see who has more billionaires, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party? Who has more millionaires, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party? You know what you're going to find out? The majority of the rich people in America, they're Democrat. Not Republican. So then how does that make sense? It doesn't. It just means that they're lying to you. That's all that means. They're just lying to you. That's all that's going on. They're just lying. I don't understand why Democrats, the voters, the Democratic voters, aren't more pissed at their representation. Like, I don't care if you stay Democrat. Right now, Trump is the best candidate. Maybe next time the best candidate is going to be a Democrat. Maybe. Until they move away from Obama and Clinton, we're not going to be getting anything different than what we got in Biden. So the Democratic Party needs to move away from Obama and Clinton. And the only way that can happen is if there is another Democrat that comes up that becomes more popular than them. That's the only way that that's going to happen. So the Democratic voters need to start looking at other Democrats, their policies, and the things that they're trying to do, instead of trying to force communists down the throats of the American people. That's just my opinion. You could do what you want with it. So this is developing. 30 minutes ago, CPAC dropped this. It says reports are circulating that the Obama and Harris Walls campaign have told the media to ignore the Chicago DNC protests to give the false impression that the Democratic Party is united. Before I show you that this says that, and before I show you the time frame, I'm going to take a screenshot just to make sure that nothing. Before I show you the thing, I'm going to take a screenshot just because you know how this shit just sometimes moves off of the screen and then whatever the case may be. So you can see the time frame. Our show already started. Just so you can understand where I'm at politically, mentally, with the understanding of what's going on the political landscape. Just so we could be clear. I told y'all that Biden and Kamala are not together, right? Hold on. I don't want y'all to see all of the noise first. You see what that says? This is real time. It say it was posted 30 minutes ago, right? Now I'm going to show you what it actually says. Because people like to say I don't know what I'm talking about. Once somebody tries to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm talking about, I don't even want to talk to those people no more. I don't want to argue with you. Because I know what I'm talking about. And once you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm talking about, either one or two things. You're just lying, or you don't even know what we're talking about. You have no idea what's going on, or you're lying. I'm going to turn it sideways so we can get the whole thing. So let me turn this around for a second. And the media will obey accordingly. What is the media going to obey? So an account called the Trump Train tweeted out, developing. Reports are circulating that Obama and the Harris-Walz campaign have told the media to ignore the Chicago DNC protests to give the false impression the Democratic Party is united. Word? So this topic that we're talking about right now is a thing. Now, okay, so one thing I want to say is this is New York. This is the NYPD. I don't know if they fucking imported police or some shit. I don't got the slightest idea. But this is actually the NYPD. But I will say this. They have been inside of when Kamala was doing a press conference or whatever the hell she was doing. Do y'all remember they were yelling at Kamala, talking about free Palestine? And then Kamala got on board with the free Palestine. Remember? Kamala also has been speaking bad about the state of Israel. Just saying. Now, what has Trump been saying? He's going to bring peace. You can want to bring, I can disagree with you, but still wish peace into your life. I can disagree with you, but still wish the best for you. Me disagreeing with you does not mean that I mean bad for you. Me disagreeing with you might be me wanting to save you. Whether I'm right for disagreeing with you or not. Look what this guy says.
Vision for the country. There's a website right now. Notice anything missing? Here, I'll show you. There's no fucking policies. No vision. Kamala Harris's website right now. Notice anything missing? Here, I'll show you. There's no fucking policies. No vision for the country. There's a donation link. So she can take my money to do, I don't know what, because there's no policy document. Trump has a platform. RFK has a platform. Kamala doesn't. Guys, I don't know how to say how fucked up this is. Kamala's just been put in place of Biden. After she knew that he was in cognitive decline, I didn't say anything. No primary process so that people democratically choose a leader of the party. Her entire platform is that she's not Trump. She's a black woman, and Trump is a bad man. And people just buy it up. Because if you've been watching CNN and MSNBC and reading the New York Times, you believe that Trump is a bad man. And there are things that Trump has said that are reprehensible, but it's been exaggerated to the point where people think he's literally Hitler. So if you think he's the greatest evil, of course you'll do anything, including pick a candidate who doesn't actually have a policy position. Wake up. Go to Kamala Harris's website right now. Go to Kamala Harris's website.
Imagine voting for a person who isn't even telling y'all what they're going to do for America. I need to understand how that makes sense. With all fairness. How does that make sense? Somebody explain to me how that makes sense. You have no idea what this person plans on doing for America, but you vote for them. You have no idea. They won't tell you. Their whole reason for getting elected is that they're not Trump. Kamala Harris is literally just one of those YouTube pages that talk shit about another page, while the page that's being talked shit about do actual content. So Trump is doing actual content. Kamala and her people have no content. So the only thing they could say is negative things about Trump. That's it. They have no other thing they can do. Nothing. All they could do is say negative things about Trump and then try to act and jack whatever Trump is saying and pretend like they're saying it. There's nothing else they can do. They have no nothing. Y'all gonna elect a troll president. Y'all already elected a troll president in Biden. But at least they had policies back then. They just were terrible policies. I'd rather you elect a person because they got terrible policies than elect a person because they're fucking black. At least in one of those situations, you're trying to do the right thing. In the other situation, you're just being emotional. In one of those situations, you're trying to help America. You just might be a little wrong, but you are trying to help America. In the other situation, you're just being selfish. And you want everybody to have the same opinion that you have. And you're ready to destroy everything that's ever been created in order to make that happen. You know who's going to vote for the majority of the people that's going to vote for Kamala is going to be narcissists. People who can't admit being wrong. I have a bad habit of, and if you know me for real in real life, you know this to be a fact. I have a bad habit of apologizing for even the smallest slight. Once I believe that I'm wrong about something, I apologize. And the reason why I do this is because I grew up with narcissistic people who are just not good people. And they just do some of the most evilest shit to you. And they never apologize, and they're never sorry, and they'll do it again. So I have a bad habit of apologizing about things that I have not done wrong. It makes people think I'm weak sometimes, when in reality, it's just that I understand how it feels. I know how it feels to have people treat you like you're not even a human being. The key food around here, they treat me like I'm not even a human being. Like the supermarket that's the closest over here, like they just treat me terribly. I'm talking about the workers. There's like a couple of workers who are nice and nice people. But like overall, like the people that own the establishment specifically, every time I go in there, they try to create a situation with me to try to make it, they try to gaslight me every time I go in there, one way or the other. They're just terrible people. I just smile and I try my best and my hardest to not have to talk to any of them. You understand? So that's the most I could do. Like I got to go to the supermarket, right? I got to go to the store. What am I going to do? So I just try my best to make sure that I don't get into any conversations with anybody at the supermarket. There's a couple of people that work there that are actually good people, and you could feel them. You could feel their energy radiating off of them. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell they're good people, right? I say hi to them or whatever the case is. But they don't even treat me, not them, the other people, the people, you know, they don't even treat me like I'm a human being. Like they treat literal dog shit on the street better than they treat me. But they do think that I'm supposed to treat them like they're kings and queens at the same time. But they just treat me so badly. And at the same time, I'm supposed to treat them like they're God. So I go in there and just give you a real quick example. And they say, what I want to pay? I say, I want to pay debit because I had some situations that went on with my card. And if I don't have a certain amount of funds inside of my account, I don't want to use credit because I have my own reasons. I don't want to go into it. I've had problems with my bank account with this particular bank. So whenever they put credit, I'm probably going to have an issue 2-3 days later with the way that the money is taken out of the account, right? So when I go in there, I always say debit. Now, if I have my own choice and my funds is the way that it should be, I'll do the credit. It's not that big of a deal. It's doing the credit is a benefit to me, right? But right now, or at least before, like now, it's okay. Like especially after I get my next couple of checks, it's not going to be an issue. I'm going to go back to doing credit. So while I was going through this, you know, financial situation problem, I know that I can't do credit. I need to do debit. So I go into the store and they know that I do debit because I only go to a couple of people. I only go to the people I know. You know, I'm 100% like this. Once you do me wrong, I'm just going to assume you're going to do me wrong every single time I ever see you. Because there's no reason to do me wrong. I'm a nice guy. Like, even if you don't like me as a person, I'm literally a pretty nice guy. So there's no reason to do anything to me negatively unless you just don't like me. Unless you just want to cause hardship on me. So I go into the place and I always ask debit. So what they'll do is they'll try to gaslight the situation and they'll do credit. So now I know 2 days down the line, I'm going to have a problem with my account. So 2 days down the line, I'm going to have a problem with my account. Right? But they act like they didn't do anything wrong. They pretend like I'm exaggerating. They pretend like, oh, I didn't know. Just gaslight the whole situation. As far as I'm concerned, those people work for Satan. Every time I see them, I just got to smile. Sometimes I got to say hi. I don't want to. I don't like them. I'm talking about the owners, just so we could be clear. I don't like them. But when I see them, I got to say hi. When I see them, I got to be civil. I don't like them. When I go into your store, y'all make me pay a different way than the way that I want to pay. Y'all fuck with my bank account. You don't know my personal situations and or issues, and I shouldn't have to tell you. You ask me how I want to pay. I tell you how I want to pay. I should be allowed to pay that way. But those people hate me so much that they make it a point to try to make me pay a way that I don't want to pay. Because the only thing I do is go to the store and buy things. And they hate me so much that they want to cause problems for me, not just in that moment. They want to cause problems for me down the road. So as far as I'm concerned, they work for Satan. As far as I'm concerned. You know what I spend my day doing? I'm doing YouTube, or I'm working with kids at the park, playing basketball, doing drills and stuff like that, showing them different basketball plays, teaching them moves. That's what I do on my day. That's literally what my day is. And I'm happy doing that. This is not a complaint. I love my day. I don't have to argue with anybody. Once you argue with me, I never want to talk to you again. So I don't have to argue with anybody. I don't got to go back and forth with anybody. We're being productive. We're doing a thing. I love it. I love the community that I live in. I love it. The only shame is that I can't have good interactions with Black people. I wish. I ain't gonna lie. I wish Black people didn't hate me. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, it is what it is. You just live with it. You know, it is what it is. You just gotta live with it. I appreciate. I just want to stop real quick. Shout out to Seagate. Shout out to the Seagate board, the community board. Shout out to the Seagate police. Shout out to the residents. The majority. When I say majority, I mean like 99% of the residents that live in Seagate. Y'all make me feel home. Y'all make me feel loved, seen, appreciated. I need a second. I'll talk about something else. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Put it into the chat. We've been here about an hour and a half. I think I'm gonna let the show go. I need to actually get to the business that pays me, for one, and two, I've had the entire conversation basically that I wanted to have. I explained why Biden and Kamala are at odds with each other, and also why she won't fix things, and because she's a communist. So, you know, she thinks that things are actually the way that it should be, just so we can be clear. Why would she fix anything if she believes that this is the way that it should be? You know, she believes that, you know, in socialism, you know, we are not a socialist nation. Our we are not a socialist nation. Socialism leads to communism. And that's why you see so many people that are not American-born citizens, that come from places like China, that come from places like South America, and they are supporting Trump in great, great numbers. The reason is because they came from countries that were socialist. They came from countries, they lived in socialism. They lived in communism. They understand how dangerous it is. They understand that the people just won't be happy, can't be happy, will not be happy. It's not possible for them to be happy. The main idea behind being a Republican is that the people have rights to control their own destiny. That the lives of the people are their own. That's like the main point of being a Republican. You do not want the government in your business. I didn't understand that when I was young. I didn't understand. I thought you wanted the government to do this. You want the government to do that. I didn't understand it. But now, me being an adult, I don't understand how other adults don't understand it. I don't know how other adults aren't looking at the same exact situations that I'm looking at and saying, why would we want the government in our business? Kamala Harris wants to get rid of private health care. Do you understand what that's going to do? That's going to create a monopoly. There's literally a law against monopolies. Kamala Harris wants to create a monopoly in the field that is not even arguably, but factually, the most important aspect involving the general well-being of a citizen of a nation, and that's the health field. She wants to create a monopoly that's government ran. How can you vote for that? You hate Trump so much that you're going to vote for something that is just one of the worst ideas? You're going to vote to put yourself into servitude? What do you think is going to happen when the government has 100% control over our healthcare providers? And the only healthcare provider is the government. What do you think is going to happen? When they're able to decide who's going to pay what, the government. You see, when we have a healthcare system that allows for private healthcare providers, that means that there's competition. Competition drives prices down. You do know this, right? Like, this is just basic business. This is business 101, right? Competition drives prices down, right? When there is no competition, you can charge what you want to charge, right? So why would the American people want the government to have a monopoly on our healthcare providers? On who you could go purchase healthcare from? Why would you want that? So this is what I mean by there are a lot of good people who are going to vote for Kamala, and they got the best intentions in the world. But because they're looking at, our the political spectrum, the political field, the way that they are, They're not trying to be harmful to us as a nation. But they've already decided that we don't care what policies Trump is going to do. We don't care how we're going to benefit. We don't care how badly negative things, how negative, how terrible society is going to get. We have our own personal opinion based on emotion. So therefore, I can't vote for Trump. And I just don't think that that's the way to go. They're so sure that they're going to lose, they're trying to prepare another pandemic for after Trump wins. I advise us as a nation, for the people that want to fall in line with whatever pandemic they want to do, fine. But when Trump becomes president again, he's not going to allow. And then this is another thing that I think is going to happen. We're going to find out the truth about why people are going to the hospital and dying. They're not just going to blame it on whatever the alleged pandemic is that's happening. We're going to find out the truth. I believe that a lot of people are going to go to prison. A lot of doctors, a lot of healthcare providers, politicians. I believe a lot of people are going to end up going to prison. It's just my belief. You can do what you want with it. But I don't think they're going to be able to do again what they did before. And I think they know that. But they still got to try. Our politicians, Democrat and Republicans, both got douchebags on either side, just so we can be clear. But the ones that's in control right now of the Democratic Party, not all Democratic candidates, but the ones that are in control right now of the Democratic Party, these cannot be good people. They can't be. That's my belief. With that being said, I'm going to let y'all go. Nice hour and a half of conversation. I'm going to let y'all go. Everybody, I didn't run no commercials today. I should have ran a commercial too. I'm going to let y'all go. Once again, I got to get back to the business that pays me. Once again, I got to get back to the business that pays me. So I'm going to let y'all go. Everybody, just have a blessed day out there. Go do stuff in the world that's going to benefit society. You know, we have to get to a point where we aren't emotionally making our decisions. Like every decision can't be emotional. What up to the few? So I'm going to let y'all go. Everybody have a blessed day. Go out there in the world. Do something worth doing. Attach God's name to it. I literally walk out into the world every day and try to find positive things to do. I'm going to tell you something funny that happened last night. So I never keep cash on me. I don't carry cash. Ever. I don't care how much money I have in a bank account. I don't care how much money I have. I just don't carry cash. So I'm coming out of the chicken spot last night, the Popeyes, and some dude hurries down the block, I guess. I don't know. He was on a bike. He just rides up to me and asks me for money. Never seen this nigga a day in my life. Now, I lived in Coney Island for how long? A couple of years now, right? So I know all the resident transients, right? And I'm saying that not to be disrespectful. I'm just saying I know all of the resident people that be out here, you know, asking for change or whatever. I never have any cash, so I can't give anybody any money. I just literally don't carry cash. There's a couple of reasons of that. One of the main reasons is I lose the money whenever I have money on me. I literally put my hand in my pocket, pull my hands out, and money's everywhere, right? Sometimes I just forget to put it in my wallet. That's one reason why. Just the main reason why I don't carry cash. But even if I wanted to carry cash around here, my bank isn't in this area. I don't have any bank. Like, I gotta walk like a mile and change, like probably 1.7 miles to get to the closest bank. And I might be so accurate with that number, by the way, but I'm gonna check. Hold on, I'm so accurate with that. Hold on, I think. Okay, nearest. Let's see. The nearest one is 1.5. It's 1.5. So the nearest one is 1.5. I was close though. So I gotta walk and I'm gonna walk it. Like, I'm not gonna jump on them. There's no bus on that route, just so we can be clear. So it's not me jump on the bus and get there. There's no bus on that route. So I have to walk about 1.7 miles. Or I gotta take the bus and then walk, like, I don't know, a half a mile or whatever the case is. But anyway, it's nowhere near me. My bank isn't over here. I don't like going to ATMs because ATMs be double charging you. You get charged to use the ATM, but you also got to get charged a bank fee for using the ATM. So you get charged for using that ATM, which might be 99 cents, but then the bank also charges you like a $2.50 in order to use the ATM service that the bank provides to draw the money. See, this is why I be saying people don't even understand how this shit works. So I don't like using ATMs. Just being honest with you. So I never have cash on me. Anyway, so the dude rolls up to me and just asks me for cash. And I could look at him in his eyes. And 100%, somebody told him to come ask me for money. So in their minds, I'm selfish. In their minds, because I don't want to give this person that I don't know money that I don't even have. In their minds. So that, and also remember, these people out here hate me. Just make sure that we don't lose that point. The black people out here, I don't hate y'all at all. No hate. But they hate me. I don't hate y'all, but they hate the shit out of me. If I had money, I wouldn't give it. For that explicit purpose. There's no way in the world that you're going to spend all of your time hating me and then I'm going to go do something that's going to benefit you. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to try to stop anything good from happening to you. Don't get this confused. But I damn sure ain't going to help people that hate me. Why would I help you? That don't make sense. It's backwards. In any regard. I don't even carry cash. So yeah. So for all of you people that's gonna just be walking up on me, I don't carry cash. Never. Somebody trying to rob me, you just gonna have to just shoot me because I ain't got no money. Never. You're just gonna have to shoot me. You're not coming up to me to rob me. You coming up to me to murder me because I ain't got no cash, and I'm never gonna carry cash. And I don't care how much money I have. I would never carry cash. Just so we could be clear. So we're gonna get up out of here. Shout out to Hassan Shipman with the $20 drop. Definitely appreciate you. I hope everybody is having a blessed day. Hope everybody is having a blessed day. Shout out to YouTube. I've been having a couple of conversations with YouTube lately. I've been contacting them a lot. Our numbers have been incredible. I don't want to show all of our numbers because when you do that, people think that you're bragging. So I'm not going to show no money or nothing like that. But shout out to, as you can see, this is just real time. As you can see, this is just real time. I'm just, this is how the thing looks. So shout out to YouTube. Shout out to the, oh shit. Shout out to the 20,000 new subs we have. Shout out to the 17 million views that we just acquired. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And you have no idea how thankful I am, how grateful I am for the people that have been enjoying the content. I know most of y'all are not, but there are people that enjoy the content. I don't know if they're going to watch this, but I appreciate you. Everybody that enjoys the content. I appreciate everybody. You guys are all great. Our numbers have been doing, we're doing exponential numbers. Our numbers is going through the roof. Our numbers will continue to go through the roof. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. So everything that I'm doing right now to make my numbers go through the roof, I've then told other people to do the same thing. But instead of those people doing the thing that I told them to do that wins, they just, decided to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about. And then they go do their own thing and it really don't win. And then they get upset and they get angry. But every single thing that I'm doing right now is things that I told other people to do. Every single thing that I'm doing right now is things that I told other people to do. Every single thing. It's just that when I tell people to do something, they get upset and angry at me. And for whatever their reasons might be. And then they decide that they're not going to do it. And then they get mad when the thing that they're doing that don't work the way that they want it to work, don't work the way that they want it to work. So I have no control over that. And all of you people, I wish y'all the best, with the exception of, I don't want you to win at my expense, but everybody, I wish y'all the best. I hope whatever you're doing, you're successful at it. But I tried to help. You decided that you did not want the help for whatever your reason was. And that's your right. I just want to be clear about that. That's 100% your right. You do not have to. There is no obligation for you to do anything that I'm saying to do. If I'm literally just trying to help. For whatever your reason is, believe that I'm not trying to help, fine. For whatever the reason is that you believe I don't know what I'm talking about, fine. Absolutely, just fine, right? Even when you go tell other people I never tried to help you, fine. But remember, we know. So even as you lie to other people and be like, yo, Frost never tried to help me, in your heart, you know that's not true. I help a lot of kids at the park. Some kids I help more than the others. And the reason why I help some kids more than the others is because some kids ain't ashamed to say, Frost, help me. I don't need anybody to say those things, but that's being grateful. So when I'm helping somebody and they are grateful for the help that I'm giving them, I'm going to give them more help. When I'm trying to help somebody and they're just ungrateful, then I'm not upset and I'm not angry, but there's no obligation for me. I don't feel no obligation to continue helping you. I'm going to go help somebody that's grateful. I got a kid that I work with. I'm not going to say his name, but I got a kid that I work with, right? And so the other day we're playing. Now, what you got to understand is a couple of months ago, nobody wanted to put this kid on their team. Nobody wanted to put him on it. Like when the real players come to the park, don't nobody want to pick him up. Once the real players come to the park, he got to watch on the side. So I went, I coached him up. And now when I come to the park, he on my team. And I don't care who we playing against. It don't matter. We could still win. So we playing the other day. And he busting the other team's ass. Just busting their ass. Right? At the end of the game, one of the people from the other team had to tell him, Yo, you got a lot better in a matter of like less than a year. That's what gratefulness do. That's what gratefulness do. When you're grateful, that makes people want to help you. When you're grateful, you know, that makes, especially people like me, that, like I told you, I can't even go to the supermarket. That makes people want to help you. I love working with that kid. There's a couple of other kids out there I love working with. Because when I give direction, they follow direction. And they also not ashamed to tell people that I work with them. With that being said, I love y'all. Everybody go out there and do something good in the world and attach God's name to it. Show that you're grateful that God put you in a position that you can help others. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. Okay, I was supposed to hit a button at that point, but when I hit the button, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Hold on. She should hate what happens. In any regard, I'm out.